Hey guys, welcome back. If this is your first time with us, I want to welcome you. And you may not know me. My name is Michael Mershon. I am your Ziglar licensed Choose to Win coach, and I am also an individual Texas broker with eXp Realty. One quick note before we get into the video here, I am actually looking to expand my real estate team. So wherever you happen to be watching this video from, I am looking to expand my eXp team, and we have some great opportunities. So if that's something you're interested in, sit down and have a conversation over Zoom or in person, then be sure you reach out to me. Without further ado, we're going to get into the video today, the Ziglar Performance Formula. This is a great little tool, and what this does is it gives you an idea of how you're performing in any given area. This doesn't have to be business. It doesn't have to be specific to a job. It can be very much a personal gauge as well. So it's made up of three components. The three components are attitude, effort, and skill. So what we do is we have attitude times effort times skill. And on my mentoring call with Tom Ziglar this week, he said something that stuck out to me. He said, you only make a decision one time. So you're only going to make a decision about what kind of attitude you're going to have in any given situation one time. You're only going to make a decision about how much effort you're going to put into that particular situation one time. And you're only going to make a decision about how you're going to use and refine and hone your skills one time. Every day after that is simply just recommitting to the decision that you've already made. So as you can see, attitude times effort times skill gives us the P, and the P in this case is performance. This formula can be used to measure your performance regardless of what you do or who you are. So maybe you're watching this video and you're not in business at all. That's perfectly all right. You can still use this formula as a gauge and as a guide to how you're performing as a parent, or how you're performing as a spouse, a friend, a volunteer, whatever the situation may be. There's lots of reasons that you could use this formula, lots of methods you could use this formula for. So why does your performance matter? Primarily two things. There's two categories that performance falls into. You have your business and you have your personal. As you can see, the business, you get these little things called certificates of appreciation. We all like those, don't we? And on the personal side, it can be a whole host of things. Maybe it's just a deeper, more meaningful relationship with your kids or your spouse. Maybe it's better communication. Maybe it's more opportunities to serve. Whatever it may be for you is going to be a little bit different, but the bottom line is that you can measure your performance, and that will give you an accurate indicator of how well you're doing. So for purposes of this video, I'm going to stick mainly to the business aspect of things, but do know that there is overlap, and you can use everything I'm saying to gauge and to measure your performance in other areas of your life. So starting off with attitude. Attitude is the way you think or feel about something. And there's a reason this one comes first, because nothing moves a relationship or an opportunity faster than attitude. And unfortunately, that can go both ways. So you can move a relationship or an opportunity forward, or you can move the relationship backwards and have the opportunity quickly slip away. That is really all dependent on your attitude. The next one here we have is effort. So effort is the hustle and smarts. It's about working hard, about hustling, that hustle aspect of it, but it's also about working smart and efficiently. Because the reality is, to have a sustainable high level of hustle, you have to work smart. So it's not just about how hard you work, it's also about how smart you work. And then lastly, skills. And very simply, skill is the ability to do something well. So skills come with learning, training, repetition, and practice. I'll give you an example of that I am familiar with very closely because I'm in real estate. So there are many different skills that you need to be successful in real estate. You have to have great communication skills is one thing. You have to have a knowledge of all the contracts and the paperwork and the timelines and deadlines. So there's a lot of systems that have to be built around your business in order to ensure that you can be successful. And then there's a personal side. One of the big things with personal is going to be the communication. Now, you may think you're a great communicator, but if you're not communicating in a manner or a form or a fashion that the other person is receiving and understands, then essentially you're not communicating. So those are just some examples of skills, and those are all things that maybe you don't have them right now, but that's where the attitude and the effort come in, and that's why those two are first, because the attitude you have and the effort you put in towards building those skills is going to have a dramatic impact on ultimately how well you do perform those skills. So getting into the formula here. So I want you to imagine that it's your first day at your new job. Maybe it's the first job you've ever had. Maybe you're just transitioning to a different job and you're starting in a new company, but it's your first day. So you're understandably probably a little nervous. Therefore, your attitude here is going to be at a 1. You have no assigned tasks and you have nothing to really do yet because it's your first day. So your effort's at a 1. And this is a brand new job. You haven't learned it yet. So your skills are also at a 1. Now that gives us a performance calculation of 1. Now, what I want you to imagine is that your first day ends and it goes really, really well. You learn a few things, you meet some people, the boss is encouraging. So you start day 2. Now you're on day 2 and you're coming into day 2 with a much better attitude because you're less nervous, you feel more comfortable, you're a little bit more excited about actually going to the office, but it's only your second day. So you still don't have any job specific things that you have to do, no tasks. So your effort's still going to be a 1. And you haven't learned any new skills yet because you're just getting oriented. So your skills are still at a 1. But as you can see, by adjusting our attitude and by increasing our attitude by 1 point, we have effectively doubled our performance score. We went from a 1 to a 2. So we have doubled our performance score. And guys, this is where the compounding effect starts because as you can see from day 1 to 2 in just a 24-hour period, we doubled our performance score. So on to day 3. Now you're riding high on day 3 from a successful day 1 and 2. So your attitude's still a 2. You're still very happy, very excited to be there. Your boss has actually assigned you a few things now. So you come into work on day 3 and you have some tasks to do. So now your attitude's still at a 2. Your efforts have increased because now you have some actual tangible work to do. So your efforts are up to a 2. And your skills, yeah, they're still at a 1 because this is only your third day. But what that has effectively done is now we have a performance score of 4. So we've jumped from a 1 to a 2 to a 4 in the matter of 3 days. Now, this is where the compounding effect gets interesting, is that it compounds and doubles consecutive days if you put in the effort. So let's go to day 4. Day 4, you have a great attitude. You've been assigned tasks and you want to be able to perform those tasks well. So now you've taken some of your personal time after working on your breaks and you've actually started honing in your skills a little bit. So day 4 starts with your attitude at a 2, your efforts at a 2, and now your skills have improved. So they're also at a 2. That effectively gives us an 8. Our performance score is now 8, which has doubled again from day 3. But if you're getting a little cocky now, you're thinking, all right, I got this. I'm just keep doubling up every day. Well, maybe you go out and celebrate day 4. You end day 4, you go home, you stay up too late. Maybe you don't get enough sleep. You oversleep, you sleep in, and you're maybe 20 minutes late to work. So you show up at work 20 minutes late on day 5 and the boss chews you out. Well, that's not a great way to start the day. So that kind of sends you into a little bit of a tailspin and maybe you have a bad attitude. You're kind of moping around the office for a little bit. Well, our attitude is now a -1. So we're going to try to make up for that bad attitude by continuing to do our tasks and continuing to put a 2 at effort. And our skills haven't gone anywhere because they're still a 2. So what do we have? We have a -4. So we've effectively gone from an 8, where we had doubled it to get to an 8 in 3 days. Day 4 was great, and now here we are on day 5, and we're at a -4. So here we are on day 5, and we have effectively gone from an 8 to a -4. That is a huge drastic difference. And what's the only thing that changed? The only thing that changed was our attitude. We had a negative attitude, which then sent us into a spiral and threw everything else affecting our performance off and gave us effectively a drastically different negative number. And the bottom line with all this, guys, is that you have to have ownership. As I mentioned at the start, you have the ability to make the choice. The choice is yours, and you're ultimately the only one that can make the choice about what kind of attitude you're going to have, what kind of effort, and how much skill you're going to develop. Nobody else can make that decision for you. Nobody else can force you to have a bad day. Nobody else can force you not to learn. Nobody can force you not to put in effort. That's all decisions you have to make. So by making those decisions before you start your first day that you're going to give maximum effort, You're going to have the best possible attitude you can, regardless of circumstances. And you're going to do everything you can to learn the skills that you need for that particular situation. That is going to get you so much further. As you can see, we compounded that score and it doubled consecutive days there till we got up to the 8. Now, if you keep going, you eventually you're going to hit, your next year all threes. Now we're at 27. So we've gone from an 8 to a 27. We've only increased each category by 1. So as you can see, the compounding effect of that may start off slow. It seems like 1 to 2, not a big deal. Okay, 2 to 4, well, that's a little bigger of a deal. 4 to 8, well, then 8 to 27, like that's a humongous jump. So whether we're talking about business or whether we're talking about personal, I want you guys to focus on owning your decisions and committing to making that decision one time. You're not going to make that decision every single day. All you're going to do is recommit to the decision that has already been made. That's half the battle, guys. If you commit to keeping the decision made, and not remaking it every single day, but merely recommitting to it, you can do great things. Now, as I do with every video, if you guys have seen them before, of course, you know that I offer a limited number of strategy sessions every week. We're full up for about 2 weeks out, but I do want to continue to offer that. If that's something you guys are interested in, of course, give me a call, shoot me a text message, and what we'll do is we'll just spend about an hour together. We're going to take a deep dive into who you are, what makes you tick, and really what you want to get out of life and where you want to go. And then we're going to help you get a game plan to go there. And of course, this is a complimentary session, but at the end of the day, I can only make the offer and you guys have to take the next step. So if you're happy with where you're at and you don't want anything to change, and by all means, just keep watching these videos. But if you feel like, okay, maybe something's missing, or maybe there's something more that I could be doing, or I want more out of life, even if it's just something as simple as more balance in a particular area, then I would love to have that strategy session with you guys. Anyway, stay safe. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and come back next week for more.